Alright, here we are for another session of Kentucky Route Zero, heading down the Echo River. Where we're gonna end up, nobody knows. Let's go. Look at these easels and tables on the beach over there. They call it an open-air gallery, or probably something more upscale like al fresco galleria. They say it's a popular design in foreign cities like Paris and New York. That may be true. The appeal is clear enough, I guess. Anyone can wander in and out. There aren't any walls or doors. There's no roof either, just a kind of thin cloth membrane. Not quite a sheet or a tarp, but more like a drape of rolled out spiderweb, looking like it might bunch up and dissolve if it ever got rained on. No concern down here for rain. Everyone thinks they're inside just because they can't see the sky, but it's a microclimate down here, and it surely does rain. Right now, they're exhibiting some intimate photographs of small-town life. The highlight of the show is a large print of an old man's face. The photo was titled Walker. His eyes are kind of closing, or maybe opening, probably closing. Because of the scale of the thing, you can see all the crumbs in his beard. No, not food crumbs. Crumbs from sleeping outside. Yuck. Reviews have been good. It's a popular show, probably because of its relevance. The town depicted in these photos was very recently flattened to make way for a big museum project. Ever just get your town flattened for a big museum project? Alright. I took a nap, or Ezra helped Kate forage for mushrooms. Let's forage for mushrooms. That sounds more active. Act 4, Scene 6. A grove. This definitely has like a theater set sort of look to it. What in the world? Kate gently... What's this one? This one, it seems active. This one's like a memory. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of the hospital entrance. So she stood by a hot dog cart, parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. Oh boy. Plurosibella porogens, or porogens. The common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture and they're tasty, like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Okay. I mean, sounds weird tasting to me, but I would try it once. Ezra takes a small bite and ruminates. What do you think? I think I got a bug. Oh, lucky you. I'm kidding. You can spit it out if you want. My mushroom hunting mentor told us it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. Oh, wow. That's a $10 word. The more you know about them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. She taps the cover of the small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see this sort of greenish pallor off his cap? Amanita phalloides. It's Greek. Amanita means mushroom, and phalloides means, never mind. It smells like honey. Yeah, sort of nauseating though, right? Sickly sweet. Death cap. That's the common name. It's killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's a revolutionary. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. That's just what they do. Clear away things, make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Great. Look for... Actually, just grab any mushrooms that catch your eye and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done and we'll see what we've got. Have fun! That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Oh, here we go. We got a flashback scene. Alright. Flashback. Kate examines some tree roots. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of the tree, a speckled white ball and a cluster of softly glowing amber caps. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it a part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside a hospital. Kate examines the glowing amber caps. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. Kate cuts the bundle of mushrooms from the tree roots and puts them in her bag. Kate kneels in the grass. She parts the grass with her garden knife, studiously combing the ground. Had she ever tried any alternative medicines? Acupuncture, homeopathy, Ayurveda, magical thinking? She said she'd never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of the pickle jar. There are no mushrooms in the grass. Kate tries to wipe some mud off her boot. Didn't find anything? That's okay. I just found this one. Kate takes the bundle of amber caps from her bag. These ones are really cool. See how they kind of glow a little? It's not enough to find your way in the dark or anything, but still pretty amazing. Anyway, I can make a tea out of them. Pretty good for headaches. Kate puts the mushrooms back into her bag. So... What do your parents do for work, I mean? My dad used to sell windows. People were building a lot of new houses, and they needed a lot of windows, but when they stopped building houses... my mom worked at a bakery and a bar. Sometimes she would see the people in the morning and then in the evening. The bakery closed and she doesn't work at the bar anymore, but she still goes there a lot to see her friends. Do you have a family? I left home when I was very young, not much older than you, actually. I bounced around jobs and shelters, finally found my way down the Echo River, never looked back. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everybody who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me. Now, I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. That's a weird... okay. Ezra pokes around the base of a cypress tree. A brownish clump of mushroom feathers out from the base of the cypress tree. A few feet above, several pale blue puffs cling to the trunk. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, then slowly discharge it into the bones during the day, while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. The woods were full of deer. His dad said the deer liked best to live on the edges of the forest. Recent development in the area had created a lot of fresh edges, so they massed here and sometimes ran into the road. Ezra crouches to get a closer look at the brownish clump. The mushrooms look dried out and brittle, almost like tree bark. He heard strange, gruff voices back in the direction of the house, and something that sounded like a choked sob or a sharp rebuke. He kept going. Ezra tears off a piece of the mushroom and puts it in his bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was the bird. What's it silent for? It looks like someone made it on purpose. Oh, right, it's kind of a nice, simple shape, pleasantly minimal island geometry. I'm sure it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something? Flashback. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling, spiritual even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycology Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. It's a mystery! I'll search for clues! She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mentioned. Ezra examines a large stone monument. The monument is covered with lichen and painted text. Ezra reads the text. Rock graffiti. X plus O forever. Ezra looks around the shore. Ezra steps on a plastic bottle. A wooden post projects from the stand nearby. Ezra examines the wooden post. A groove is worn near the top of the post. Ezra inspects the contents of his bottles. Alright, what have you got? That stone-faced monument is X plus O forever painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? Or they could be initials like Xavier and Olivia forever. Xerxes and Oliver? What do you think that monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. There's a pole in the ground over there. It's all scratched up. Oh yeah, I bet people tie their boats there. Maybe somebody who takes care of the trees. Could be. Or other travelers and mushroom hunters like us. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him back on the boat. Wait, is that a boat entirely driven by cats? It's the cat barge. The cats. They're driving the boat. The cats are everywhere. Kate and Ezra look up at an old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. I don't know much about it firsthand, but I've heard things. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, not immediately concerned. They led him back into the house, past the house, to the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while. One little arcade with the card game they liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared. But he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, far above, from the clouds. Supposedly, there's nobody aboard, no people, I mean, there must be something on there. Life is everywhere. Rats, insects, some kind of hardy mold. Part of it could be flooded and host to some of the eyeless fish that live in the Echo. Hey, maybe there's some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. I've heard it was in the Civil War. I guess they had boats full of supplies going up and down the Ohio River, and they fought on the river, like boat to boat, with cannons or something, I guess, machine guns. I'm not a military historian, as you can probably tell. Anyway, I guess this one just got lost and somehow ended up all the way down here. Maybe it slipped into a cave up north. They're all connected underground. There's another version of the story where it didn't get lost. It was full of deserters. They came down here to hide. Maybe that's why it's a pariah. More mysteries. They do pile up over time as people forget details. Thanks for taking me mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. It's time to go. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made, and the rocks weren't placed according to their size, so what's visible is more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump. That was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Lock-Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should just go with Lock or Luck, or split the difference with Look, or even Lick, or really anything else, but it was just never going to happen. Marge Luck and Arrow Locke met in prison. She was a volunteer teaching conflict mediation skills to guards, and he was employed at the side gate accepting deliveries and greeting visitors. Neither of them once saw a prisoner. Their engagement was welcome news for the family business, who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. The Locks were the Locks of Lock Large Animal Storage and the Lucks of the Luck Family Nut Company. Surely someone in some branch of these two great trees had elephant husbandry on the brain. This is all speculation. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory. It must have somehow involved these rocks. Maybe they walked around them in a spiral, like a symbol of their ever-tightening bond. It must have also involved the petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Shannon and her friend set out in the dinghy to deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Act 4, Scene 7. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. I usually send Will, but I thought you'd like the chance to meet Dashel. He's the guy who worked at the TV station, WEVP. Oh yeah, he got mentioned a lot in the last episode. So you'll pass through the Bat Sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff from Cool Bat Facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30, they changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the Bat Sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or not be interested, but there's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye. Okay, this is us going. Here we go. So it looks like it is Shannon, Homer. Yeah. Is this the memorial? We claim these helmets, the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never will find, and so we guess the water buried them here for us. So let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any SOB from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Hey, Elkhorn, that's the mine we met in, where your folks worked. Looks like it's been here a while. Sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote is still that angry? Sure, angry. Mainly just hurt. Yeah. Everybody's got their own way, I guess. This probably stirs up... I mean, how do you... The other miners made this, but it should have been the power company. It's their fault. Yeah, I see what you mean there. Memorial should be a kind of apology. Sorry we didn't do better by you. They can turn the light off for maximum darkness. Hey, it's what? You looking at me like I'm crazy, huh? You feeling okay? Oh, sure, it doesn't hurt anymore on my leg, it's just kinda numb. Like it's not there. My shoulder too, actually. That's an old one though, from an accident. I'm lucky I just had some nerve damage there. Probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys at the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation. Just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they know they could help me take care of those medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together in a plan, consolidate it. That sounds like a really bad idea. Oh, I don't know. They seem to have a lot of experience with this kind of stuff. They got a whole process figured out. Anyway, I have a feeling this will all work out. Even this delivery? Yeah, we're almost there, right? Hell, at this point, I bet we would just drive by the parking brake and that truck would roll into 5 Dogwood Drive by itself. Listen, that old truck. I've been driving it belonged to my boss, Ira, Lisette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me much, but somehow Lis got it into her mind that we would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did. Or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for it. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery. Now that the antique shop's closing up, I got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. Sure, I could keep an eye on it for you until you get straightened out. Sure, okay, sounds good. Visitors to the Echo River, Kentuckiana long-legged bat artificial hibernarium and sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of a foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The Kentuckiana long-legged bat is confused by light. If you're using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you're approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of those ultrasonic clicks, by comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back. Differences of just millionths of a second. Bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. I think when they're actually communicating, it sounds more like singing. I'd like to hear that. Let's turn the light off while we're with the bats. Or not. I don't think we can. Let's see if this works. Huh. Bad fact! The Kentuckiana long-legged bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects the Kentuckiana long-legged bat would have been eating were very much relieved that their natural predators found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the Kentuckiana long-legged bat normally hunts, to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River, the shore of Lake Lethe. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect that precious guano here at the hibernaculum and manually distribute throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. They eat fake moths? Yeah, hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, the little gray nothing moth. Well, a lot of people eat fake food, right? Food taken apart and then put back together so it looks and tastes like something they remember eating before, even if they never really did. Right, it is reassuring to know someone's taking care of everything for those little bats. Hey, who's gonna build the people hibernaculum? Maybe we'll build it ourselves. Maybe we already did. Like the folks in the mine, you said they used to buy stuff, fans, canaries, all those little trinkets to make it bearable. There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered but human. I just mean, all people need is enough to pretend we're home and we can make it anywhere. Sure, people can, but what about bats? Maybe we'll teach them. Hell, what am I saying? I know about 100% more on the subject of bats now when I came down here. White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth, which appears on bats' faces and wings, irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly, and it is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the Kentuckiana long-legged bat be two more lost species, wiped out in a geologic blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified at the time, so the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River Kentuckiana long-legged bat hibernaculum and sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. Is this where we're stopping? Flora. Oh, hi. I remember you. Do you know where the telephone exchange operator is? I don't know what that means. I'm just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic. I think I'm more classical myself. That sounds like the same thing to me. Okay, bye. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. You too. Try not to make any more bad deals while I'm gone. I'll just be floating along down here. I just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. Here's Dashiell. Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. Are you Dashiell Morse? I mean, me? Yes, I'm him. Sorry, I've been hacking on this thing all night. My thoughts are starting to come in alternating currents. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring those old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself, I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true. They had bats then, too, but they were considered a nuisance. Train station? What happened to it? Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I missed that, actually. They were easier to climb. It's just, well, I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room for the WEVP folks. Did you know a girl named Reaver? Sure, Reaver Marquez. That's funny, I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Little miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop in there. They don't have a sign or anything. Just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old rigger. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. There's a plaque. Abel and Eloise, the lovers' couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft, but old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby, to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand aside from their habitation, and that's where we left them. I wonder if eyes actually do adjust. Like, if you turn this off long enough, like, you can start seeing things. I'm guessing not. There's Poppy. Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does this parcel claim to be from? Laszlo Electronics. Oh, must be my new patch cables. I'm not a minute too soon. This one here is hanging on by a fiber. So who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah, I just met Dashel. He's been working on that obsolete ringer, hasn't he? Poor Dashel. You know, he's not really... He was let go a while back. A long while, actually. And they started restructuring. He was one of the first to go. But he talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with some interminable project. He says it's to keep a long gap from growing his resume, but I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men who needs to work, you know? Doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are no real jobs here, but there are fake jobs, I guess. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, and she showed up early. Marie finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming, and I heard she just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Gina, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing. Nothing! And they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Lois left one Friday evening and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. They had Jana and Liz stop writing calls and write up some kind of best practices document. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma were moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they wanted to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, and I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Sounded pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm impressed. So where was I? Extended switchboard technique. It was all about timing your breath. Some girls got lightheaded, doing too many calls in a row with that upbeat dynamic inflection they made us to keep everything intelligible. It was very physical. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. If it's awesome automated, what are you doing here? Well, it's not fully automated. There are still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching, even on your phone. That's an electric touch. An intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays. But then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades, around the specific tempo of its human operators. So, short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they'd have to work out the exact timing in every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that officially is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. Once the work of 12, I'd like to remind you. They have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator light switches on, and I make the connections. Interesting. What's the machine like? Oh, it's funny. I've never actually seen it. They told me to just carry on patching while it collects and collates in the background until it's ready to take over. There's a dark thought. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's just cheaper to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? Why don't you just quit? In this economy? No, you're probably right. Working in silence for peanut shells, waiting to be replaced by a robot. It doesn't sound very dignified, does it? The reality is that I've been working here for my whole adult life. I came here as a girl, and I'll leave as a middle-aged woman. I don't know if I'm ready to be her yet. I sound like Dashel. Oh yeah, the parcel. Right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. Ooh. Wait. What just happened? Wait, what just happened? There was a skull and an arrow. Wait, was that Conway? What just happened? I'm very confused. I'm very confused. What just happened? Wait, what is this? She returned on the dinghy. Oh, it was Conway. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. She met a painter of shipwrecks. He worked from photographs, so his paintings could be divided into 2 categories. There were the ones he painted from life, and the Echo River was a very good source for these because its current was so unpredictable and the tunnels so dark. He rendered these in oil paint by lamplight, working for hours, cross-legged on the porch of his houseboat/studio. Then there were the ones he painted from memory. Mostly the memory of a single wreck he encountered as a much younger man, picking up litter where the coastal highway cleaves to the rocky beaches of Northern California. These were done in watercolor. He preferred to work on them in the morning, in the room he rented near the airport in Louisville. He had some postcard-sized sketches in charcoal, too, of the Iron Pariah. It wasn't a wreck exactly, but it felt right. He tried to scribble one down every time he encountered it, though. It was so unpredictable, and he was so focused on details, he usually ended up with a handful of inscrutable marks. She met a flower salesman on a raft. They floated alongside in buoyant pots, bobbing untethered. He coiled them with a long pole in a stream of small adjustments. She made small talk. He was alert and easygoing. His day was just beginning. He used to work at the balloon barn, but it closed down. When he wasn't selling flowers, he'd hang out the highway and listen to the sounds the car made, study them carefully, and then learn to reproduce them with his own voice. He was working on a record. He drifted away with the current, pushing his flowers along with the raft. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. He said they took turns. The water was cold and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for the both of them. Swimming is hard work, the hardest work that dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of a thin rope. It floated pretty well. Certainly had to keep an eye on it and occasionally free it from a rock or some driftwood it caught on. She asked if his guitar had in his case or just closed. He would have played her something, but the case leaked a bit. He didn't think it would sound right until it had time to dry out. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated a while. Then she knew what she'd been craving. A moment of silence. While we wait for the next scene, I will be right back. Oh, we're actually controlling the boat. Are we? Or is it just moving on its own? Bunch of debris. There's a big old house. So where's the... Okay, where are we at now? Act 4, Scene 8. Sam and Idas. Oh, is that the barge? I'm assuming so. Just in time. We're already finished eating, but we're about to place a to-go order for Clara. She's back on board, getting ready for her show. Take a look at the menu. I'm sure there's something you'll like. Ida is a bit of a local celebrity. For cooking, I mean. Hey, Ezra was just asking about you. He's around the corner. Maybe we're playing a video game. Maybe go let him know you're back, or... Where's the old man anyway? Bad luck. You'll get it next time. Hey, got a quarter? He's almost got this. It's true. Sure, I have 1 quarter. Thank you. So, where's... They took him. Yeah. He really got himself in a situation there. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit down. Cool. The food is good here. I think everyone else is finishing up. But you could probably get something to go. Alright, Claw Maestro. Let's give it another shot. So let's see what's on the top of the pile here. There's a stuffed octopus, a plastic bag full of clamshells, a cowboy hat, and some big headphones. That octopus has his leg wrapped around the boombox underneath it. The shells are pretty clear, but I don't know if the claw can really grip the bag well. The cowboy hat is in the corner, so it's kind of tricky to tell if it's wedged in or not. Those headphones might be a good bet, but I can't see the cord. It could be wrapped around something. What are you going to go try for? I want the headphones. Good call. I think that's our best bet. Okay, when I put this quarter in, you'll have about 8 seconds to grab your prize. The headphones are on the right, pretty close to the middle. Let me know if you need help lining it up. I've got a slightly different view of the field from here. Ready? Here we go! Johnny inserts the coin and the machine awakens. Timer 8. The claw hovers in the front left corner of the machine. Right. 7. The claw hovers halfway across the front of the machine. Right. Hovers in the front right corner of the machine. Does this look right? You need to push it back farther. Up. Front right corner. Hovers halfway along the right wall of the machine. Does this look right? Yeah, it looks good for me. Go for it. Alright. Pushes the button to drop the claw. The claw drops. It grabs the headphones. The claw's grasp seems unusually weak on this round, and the headphones tumble back out before they can be retrieved. Ah, you were robbed. I guess the house always wins, except on Tuesdays. A friend of ours always said that, and I really never knew what he meant. Oh well. Hey, listen. Sounds like that old man you were following around, he had to leave. Is he coming back? Well, probably not. He's got himself on a trajectory, you know? Anyway, I don't know what kind of plans you have now, but if you need help figuring out your next move, you can always talk to me and Miss Junebug. I just wanted to make sure you know that. I don't know what I'm going to do. Me neither. You're in good company. Hey, maybe we still have time to poke around this place a little. They have some pretty wild stuff in here. Hey, did you see this? They keep a table full of fake food over here. I've never known why. Actually, I think it might be real food coated with shellac or something. Preserved. Oh, and look, this tentacle-looking thing is half-eaten. This is someone's meal that they didn't finish? I dare you to take a bite. Haha. You first. No. Yeah, I don't blame you. If Sam and Ida preserved this half-eaten meal, it must have been pretty important to them, right? Maybe it belonged to someone they care about, like a beloved uncle had a mid-meal stroke, so they kept it in his memory. Yeah, like those sunflower seeds my folks left behind. Oh, I'm sure your folks are fine, though. Are you worried about them? Yes, it's weird that they just disappeared. Yeah, listen, that's okay to be worried. You're doing fine. Weird. Somehow I thought it was his truck and delivery and all. It was. That's what she's saying, but he gave it to her before they took him away. But you're going to deliver it anyway? Why? He's my friend. He needs my help to finish this job. That's right. He's our friend, too. Johnny and I will help you unload when we get there. Lift with your legs, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. So, how was everything? How was the sweet cave snail? Devastating. You're a killer, Ida. Well, I can't take all the credit. Sam came across a whole cave snail colony down there about a year back. We've been leaving rock candy for them to gorge on since. We just started harvesting earlier this month. It's all about patience down here. Everything grows more slowly in the dark. There's a fish in Lake Lethe that lives to 200 years, and its flavor profile only develops at about 75. I've got a pot of bones in there that's been stewing for at least a week. I don't even remember why I put them on. Come to think of it, I don't even remember what kind of bones they are. Oh, we need one for the road. Clara said she wanted, something primordial, she said. What does that mean? Kate reviews the menu. I think she might have meant something from very deep in the lake. Ah, that could be. Here, you pick. I'm no good at this. Shannon inspects the menu. Let's see. Let's turn the page. An aged blind cavefish and small salad. Good choice. Your friend will love it. I'll have that right out, sweetie. Ezra leans over the table and carefully examines the preserved food and drink. He prods a half-eaten tentacle. The tentacle is solid and fixed in place. We used to steam those. Juicy. But I prefer them smoked now. Sorry I startled you, sweetie. Whose food is this? This is the diver's table, and this was the diver's last meal. The food is about 15 years old. It's true. Things were different then. Nobody came to eat here. We were fighting just to keep the lights on. Sam, my husband, Sam, was depressed. He couldn't catch anything. That was part of the problem. Most of what we served was shipped and frozen or dried, and I just threw it in the fryer. We've both come a long way since then. 2 young men came in for dinner. Seasoned divers, they said. Over 10,000 hours between them in Lake Lethe alone. They'd been out all day, salvaging parts from a riverboat wreck. Had worked up a fierce hunger, they said. They ordered the whole menu without even looking. It was a short menu back in those days. I set him right here and went back to the kitchen. Sam was at the next table doing a Sudoku and drinking malt liquor, his usual routine at the time. An hour later I was cleaning up when Sam came bursting into the kitchen. Ida, he said, those divers are still hungry. Bring them another course. And I said, they already opened the whole menu, or ordered the whole menu. Sam said, so make something new. Keep making up dishes. Whatever, just keep bringing out food. So I did until the small hours of the morning. I made up so many new dishes that night I could write a book, and it was good. Inspired. But I was working so hot and fast at the burning edge of inspiration I didn't think to write any of it down. And I was so wrecked with exhaustion the next day, I knew I couldn't remember what all I'd done in the kitchen. Sam thought we could take a photograph of the leftovers, but we couldn't get the lighting right. So we just shellacked the whole table. Now when I need inspiration for the menu, I come and look here and think about all those ingenious dishes I threw together for those divers. Of course, they didn't pay their full bill. I heard one of them complaining to the other, let's just pay half and let them charge the other half to whatever demon in the kitchen kept making up food faster than we could ask for it. But it all worked out. Things have really turned around since then. This place is actually pretty popular now. The success and their expanded menu inspired Sam too. He started bringing back the most magnificent ingredients from his nightly dives. I better get back to work. Stay right here, sweetie, and I'll bring you a treat on my way back out. Who's that? How's that? Well, buddy, I guess you're the catch of the day. The one and only. So what are you? You look like some kind of eel, I guess. Kind of a mopey little guy, huh? Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You smell like kind of dusty. Dry. Where you been swimming? Skin feels like sandpaper. Huh. Well, she'll figure something out. I think I'll call you the Silent Blue Eel. Welcome to Sam and Ida's, the one and only Silent Blue Eel. I hope you enjoy your stay. I mean, not too much. Have you ever seen a creature like me before? You're pretty far down there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first. Except there were 2 divers who went before me long ago. Maybe that was before your time. How old are you anyway, I wonder? They ate once here, back in the bad old days. 2 young guys, could have been brothers maybe. I was over in the corner with my coffee and crossword. I hadn't been able to catch a thing. So Ida just fried up something from Frozen. Well, these guys were hungry enough to eat it and asked for more, and they did at least as much talking as eating. See, like I said, they were divers, and like I said, they must have been brothers. They had the kind of a rivalry going on between them. Ida was about to write up their check, but I slipped calmly and quietly into the kitchen for a minute and told her to just keep bringing out food. I figured they wouldn't notice, caught up in their boasting as they were, and I wanted to listen. They went back and forth for hours about all the deep and dangerous dives they'd been on, new tunnels they'd discovered, and all the weird creatures they'd encountered, the weirdest depths of Lake Lethe. It was like a dance, no, like a boxing match. Each story went deeper than the last. And I listened, every word of it. Memorized every description of every tunnel and diving route they'd discovered. That's my map now, you see. For 15 years I've been using those routes those 2 young divers discussed right there at that table. Yeah, I could write a guidebook to the depths of this lake, but I don't dare. Someone would steal my good diving spots, and then where would we be? People come here all over just to try out our daily catch, because they know it's unique. Ain't you proud? Since I can't write any of it down, I just peruse that table where they had their meal so I can look at it to jog my memory. Like they were eating pickled crab when they talked about that shipwreck full of salamanders. Pretty clever, huh? It's my own secret code. Well, I'll be straight with you, Silent Blue Eel. There is one feature of this arrangement that I find unsettling. In fact, I lose a decent amount of sleep over it. I told you these boys were competing, right? One-upping each other. I mean, each getting wilder and more adventurous as they traded tales. Well, I navigate mostly in the dark down there, just by going a touch and kind of a mental picture I can construct from their detailed boasts. And every time I explore a new diving spot from those recollections, I have to weigh it all against the rest, and I'm headed right into a dangerous falsehood. One of those men could have felt for a moment like he was losing some ground in their duel, so he could have slipped a fake one in there. Maybe told a fib about some dive he went on and found a colony of blind shrimp living in a discarded refrigerator. And when I got down there, my diving bell cracks open on a sharp rock where he said that fridge would be. And that's the end of Sam and Ida's. To be honest, that possibility puts the fear of death in me every time I touch water. Hey Sam, good call tonight? We'll see what we can make of it. Yeah, pretty good, I think. I hit some trouble down by the narrow tunnel. Some kind of fast-growing freshwater barnacle just about sealed it up. I picked away for half an hour before I gave up and went the other way. But I got the catch of the day. That's the important part. That's what people travel for. What's the catch of the day? This here's a silent blue eel. Mopey, sandpapery old eel. I don't know how she'll fix him, but that sandpapery quality ought to do something for, what do they call it? Mouthfeel? Will you stay for a drink? I've got a dark rum that goes well with coffee. I think we're about to leave, but thanks. Just passing through. Hey, aren't we all? Oh, she's got your food ready. Y'all enjoy your meal, alright?
This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures and my hopes are placed beyond the blue. Many friends and kin have gone on before, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? Angels beckon me to heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. I have a loving mother up in glory land, and I don't expect to stop until I shake her hand. She's waiting now for me in heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh
Okay.
Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? Angels beckon me to heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore.
Well, that was nice. I like all the random musical numbers in this game. The band that keeps following us around. Alright, I guess I have to get on the boat. Well, why am I getting on the little boat and not on the big boat? She listens to the river. Oh, that's staying. She returns to the tugboat. Okay. Act 4 is really, really long. Like, this is by far the longest act. I don't know if it really is. It just feels like this is by far the longest act. See that? Looks just like a swirling mess of garbage, doesn't it? Well, let's see what it is. I don't know why trash seems to collect right there, of all the spots in the lake. It's always been that way. Everyone just navigates around it like it was an island or something. Look closely, you can see some wood scraps from an old canoe rental shop. Gemini Canoe and Firewood. The place was run by twin sisters, Cassie and Paula, I think. This was years ago. They used to rent out canoes to tourists, campers, pilgrims, folks like that. They must have had some kind of deal with the distillery. You'd always see a couple of Hard Times boys posted up at the dock, peddling small bottles to their customers. Cassie and Paolo worked those old canoes to death, wrung every penny out of them. They only take out one out of commission when it was truly demonstrably dangerous, and you couldn't get a refund unless your boat was visibly taking on water. The side business in firewood was a stroke of minor genius. Yeah, this cluttered place makes a decent local museum. It's as good as history as I could ever tell. We arrived at a small houseboat neighborhood that sometimes hosted concerts for the pleasure of its residents, where Clara was scheduled that night to perform. Junebug and Johnny watched the show from the dockyard with the others. Act 4, Scene 9. A neighborhood. It's a theremin? Oh. I remember this. I told you. Yeah, you don't have to say it. Only because it's always been true. She played at the flower shop. Cyrano opened. He was having trouble with his tape machine, so he just droned out on the lap steel. He got really into it. Went on for like forever. Everyone was falling asleep. Not everyone. I remember the air was warm, perfumed. You were playing with some petals you found on the floor, and I was looking at the ceiling. I remember the ceiling was glass. During the week, that room was a greenhouse. I don't know where they put all the plants when they had bands in. Maybe outside? If the weather was nice, it was nice that night. Warm, smelled like spring. I remember the folding chairs. So uncomfortable. But I guess it was their only option. They had to pack everything up during the week, so there'd be room to display the flowers. Wow, look at Ezra. He's wrapped. Yeah, he's really into it. So... we were talking about him earlier at the gas station. Sure, I haven't forgotten, Cricket. Cool, yeah, I know. What do you think about Ezra traveling with us for a while? We were in the back. Kind of looking around, people watching. I remember a girl playing a video game. He was getting really into it. The sound was leaking out of her cheap headphones, mingling with Cyrano's drone, and he thought you recognized the music. I remember it was a driving game. We couldn't see the screen directly, but it was reflected in her glasses. Also, he was sharply rocking back and forth, hugging corners, I guess. Sometimes she sort of just jut out one of her shoulders forward like she was drifting. I would have been content just to sit in that folding chair and drift on Cyrano's lap steel sound waves, but you were feeling restless, so you went for a walk. If I sound hesitant or something, it's just... when we met, we were nothing. Just these little gray shadows. And we grew and filled in, and we did it all together. Ezra, sure, he's just a kid, but he's already a person. What would that do to our system, or chemistry? We took a wrong turn in the hallway and ended up in the basement. I remember the air was cool and damp like a cave. I remember the lingering perfume of the greenhouse giving way to an earthy plant smell. Like we were digging down to the roots. A grimy door in the corner caught my eye. I remember the door was stuck. There was a large gap underneath it. I shined a light on the door. Through the gap I could see brightly colored paper. You reached your arm under the door. Came back with a handful of dirt and confetti. You forced the door. It wasn't as stuck as we thought. The door burst open and we fell through. Hey, I got the masters for the new record back from Lazar. They're okay, but What? You listened to them without me? You were at the arcade. I didn't want to throw off your pinball game. Oh, okay. Anyway, there are a few spots where the strings distorted a little, and the whole thing has way too much reverb. But overall, it sounds pretty good. The new drum machine fits right into the mix. Nice. The only question is how to do it live. I can't control the drum machine and sing and dance at the same time, and you've got your hands full of guitar. We switched on the lights. The room was crowded with colorful wreaths for births, quinceañeras, weddings, funerals, celebratory wreaths, but there was something kind of sad about it. We got back to the greenhouse just as Claire was tuning up. She relaxed her shoulders, took a deep breath, raised both hands into their precise positions, and the room started shaking. Clara hit a note that made the glass rattle in sympathy, a perfect 2 octaves lower. She looked like a sorceress tearing down the building with an effortless wave and incredible focus, coaxing the empty air into some kind of moaning, rattling demon. That's the thing about the theremin. It's the only instrument you never touch. You could see a wave of concern propagating through the greenhouse. People looking up the trembling glass ceiling, looking at each other to see if anyone else was worried, trying to catch Clara's eye and discern if she was doing it on purpose or not, if she were really trying to bury us all in glass. So how do you think we'll swing that, playing the drum machine live? We'll figure something out, maybe glue it to the back of your guitar. Oh yeah, or swap the buttons out for foot pedals, or put the drums on tape beforehand like Cyrano does. Oh yeah, I guess we have a lot of options. Life is full of possibilities, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. It was a tense 5 minutes. We, the audience, alternated between fearing for our lives and lamenting hers that could have given the kind of emotional experience to play this devastating song. Then slowly, gently, Clara's hands came to rest. The theremin went quiet, the glass stopped rattling, and the room relaxed, unharmed. Well, I was expecting something a little bit more intense, like the performance that Junebug and Johnny did back at the one diner, but I guess that was something. I met a photographer once. I mean, one in particular. She even took my portrait. I can't imagine why. She said it would immortalize me. That was a metaphor, of course. She would never be forgotten. As she was disembarking, not far from here actually, the film fell out of her bag and was borne away by the current. I was working on deck at the time. She shot me a sad, apologetic glance, but I wasn't bothered. It's no shame to be forgotten. Act 4, Scene 11. I thought the previous scene was Scene 9. The Silo of Late Reflections. That was mentioned in that weird phone call interlude thing. Nice shot. What's this place like? Dogwood Drive. It's in a small town, or... I really don't know. I got the manifest the old man had in his truck here. Lisette's Antiques, mail order delivery, no return address, shipping address, 5 Dogwood Drive, packing list, and then it's just numbers. I guess the inventory numbers of the antiques he was supposed to be delivering. Anyway, I'm glad you're coming with us. Yes, I'm always eager to see more of the country, and I enjoy the company. I'll have to find a bus or a train to get on to Nashville by evening. Well, they have buses everywhere, right? Or hey, I could drive you to Nashville. It seems I have a truck now. Only, how are we going to get it up these stairs? That's quite a staircase. Is there another route? A tunnel or something? No way up but up. I guess we could wait here for the mammoth to come back around and take us a little further down, but that won't be until late afternoon. Looks like we're making the rest of this trip on foot. I don't even know what's in there. What if it's too much to carry? Nah, we've been loading and unloading gear since the stars were young. We're on roadies, right? We've got expertise. Alright, Cricket, let's get this delivery packed and tied into bundles. We're hiking it upstairs. What's in there? Antiques, I guess. Antiques. Yeah, antiques are... It's like junk. People will pay for it. Oh. To Clara. Sorry, I guess you'll be taking the bus after all. It's okay. It will be an adventure. Shannon sighs and stretches. Tired? Don't worry, lady. We're almost there. That's quite a staircase. Has that truck been on the whole time that it's been on the boat? Is this the end of Act 4? Oh, it is! That was the longest act! Oh my goodness! Alright. Un pueblo de nada. The House of Nothing. Is this, like, above ground? I'm not late, am I? This must be our guest. Oh, hi! You must be, Oh, sorry. I'm Maya. Right, traveling artist. Welcome. I'm Emily. I work here. Great. Rita says you're the producer? Oh, did she? I guess so. I do a little bit of everything. Yeah, I know the feeling. You weren't around earlier at the lunch thing? No, I don't live in town. I just came to work at the station. Really? That's quite a hike, isn't it? I know some shortcuts. Oh, okay. We better get started. You look busy. No, it's okay. I think we're about ready to start the broadcast. Oh, should I go sit down? Not just yet. Rita does a little intro. Got it. Okay. Quite a crowd in here. Really? There's like 7 or 8 of us, I think. Yeah, well, for this town, I've barely seen anyone all day. Oh yeah, ghost town. Yeah, kind of. Haha. Okay, I'll check if Rita's ready. You can just hang out back here somewhere. We'll let you know when it's time to come on set. Great. Thanks for having me. You too. I mean, you know what I mean. Why am I so awkward with visitors here? Just used to seeing the same 12 people day in and day out, I guess. At least the floor is staying dry. My left boot has a hole. Looks like the ceiling is holding up. Okay, just the usual leaks. Looks like I just made it before the sky broke open. If it gets any worse, we might be stuck in town tonight. I like the eyelashes or whatever that's supposed to be. Almost looks like a hand. Ben and Bob working on a project. We found that radio in the woods a week or 2 ago. I cleaned the circuit. Seemed like it was okay. Working okay again? So why are they taking it apart? Hope the neighbors are okay. Miss you, Cross-Eye. Let's see. Oh, James left a patch wired up on the image processor. Nice. Maybe there'll be time to play with it after the show. Slow-Mo Crow, keeping an eye on the control board. Keep up the good work, Mo. The video databank used to be on the other side of the room and the couch was in the corner. We moved it here where the ceiling is the least leaky. It's further from the windows, too, so sunlight doesn't bleach the labels. So much of archiving just playing hide and seek with weather. Alright, Cyrano's here to help with the weather reports. That should be cool. Elmo gets a lot more into it when he has some noise to vibe on. Alright, time to start the show. Okay, ready when you are. How does it look outside? Gross. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Saturn is in retrograde. What does that even mean? Yeah, I think it'll let up. I guess we'll see what Elmo says. My poor tomatoes. Okay, in 3, 2... Hi, it's Rita. This is your evening broadcast, 8192. Wow, it's really raining out there. Damn, I can hear it from here. We have a few leaks. Put some pots and bowls underneath them. Thanks, Ron, for lending us your extra pots and bowls. I hope you had a good day, despite the weather, although it was really nice earlier, right? I had a good day today. I met a new friend. She's going to join us in about a minute or so. Maybe you saw her earlier around lunch, or if you didn't meet her, then you'll meet her in a minute. Or if you met her already, but you still want to hang out, I'm sure there's plenty we can talk about. Wow, so this is 8192. Is that right, Emily? What is she talking about? That's a lot of broadcasts. I came in around the 5s, so I've only been around for half of them. And then back then in the 5s, let's see, we had I Did Night Noise, and we had the Swap Show and the Bird Show, and people were just coming in and dropping off tapes all the time, and now it's just the evening broadcast. But it's not like, I'm not saying we're in decline or anything like that. I love the first evening broadcast. I think it was the first show we had on here. It was the first show not produced by the power company. It was the first community show, yeah. Those hypnotic fuzzy old tapes about safe wiring. There were a few power company training videos that ran before, but those don't count. Yeah, so it's the spine of the station. Or maybe it's the heart. Or is it the skin? What part of the WEVP body do you think this is? Why don't you come on by and tell us about it? We're going to be here for another 30 minutes or so. Or if you don't want to brave the storm, you can always give us a call. Same number as always, 270-216-5556. Okay, so we're going to start with a tape. This is an old one. It's one of mine. Maybe you haven't seen it. Or if you've seen it, it's been a while, so maybe you've forgotten. What? She asked me to queue up her tape on Pueblo de Nada. Where is it? I don't know. It's probably still shelved. I'll find it. Ron sent emails a thank you. Alright, let's see. Emily scans the shelves of videotapes. I had these alphabetical. Can't keep anything you're organized for long. We should put this all in chronological order, although I guess it's hard to remember sometimes the order of things. And some of these tapes were made at the same time. We started one video and then started another in the middle and then came back later, and time is out of joint. It's like sweeping a beach. Oh, wait a minute. Ron borrowed it for his screening, so it's probably with the others he returned. Here, Aunt Connie Reframed, Bearway Studies, Death of an Airfield, and Pueblo de Nada. Aha. What would you do without me? Is there anything else we can do? Nope. I'll queue up Rita's tape now. Here you go, Mo. Hold off on playing this until Rita's done setting it up. Thanks, babe. So they have a bird managing the tape deck. Okay.
I go to church every Sunday.
That's weird. Ready when you are, Rita. Some people that lived here a long time ago, before the company town, before the airstrip, like over 100 years ago. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it. It's Emily. Ready, Emily? I wonder what Maya thinks of the dog.
Llegaron de Florida.
This is cool.
Antes
Have
de
you seen it
eso,
before?
De algún lugar en América Central.
I should say
Pero
something nice.
ninguno
Yeah,
de los que
it's
llegaron aquí
something
habían
else.
vivido en América
You don't sound
Central.
convinced. Haha.
La
It's not a bad way to learn about
comunidad
history,
se
though.
construyó a sí misma, persona por persona, en los
She did a lot of
años
research
entre
for this
medio.
tape. The people of nothing. Oh, the people of nothing. I thought it was the house of nothing. We still have a few of those worn-out notebooks they left. I guess that guy from the university took the rest? What did he say he was working on? Alright, the Archive of Utopian Thought. Some big preservation project, I guess. So now the people of nothing are on a shelf somewhere, here on this tape. It is history, right? Or just some kind of story. Seems kind of sad now. I guess it's kind of a memorial. These are always sad. A memorial to people who used to live here. Or is there even a difference? Although, now the tape is just here on a shelf. Every once in a while, we dust it off and it shuffles around the airwaves again, like an old dog. Sorry, did I say something wrong? Oh no, I'm sorry. I just have some weird stuff going on in my head tonight. You know what I mean? Sure, it's okay. Sorry I spaced out. Don't worry about it. You should... Oh, should I go sit? Yeah, it's almost over. Next up is Maya's interview. So where are you staying tonight? Here in town. Oh good. Yeah. Even before the storm came in, I thought it'd be nice to get some rest before the long hike back to the highway. Ron offered his loft? What? He said I could sleep in his loft. Oh, honey, he's talking about his barn. Ron, nobody wants to sleep in your barn. Ron shrugs. It's not haunted. How did that rumor start? Oh, was it when Bob stayed there? He had scratching and crying. It really spooked him, and it was all he'd talk about for a week. Probably just a cat. You'll stay at my place. Oh, thanks. Oh, Ron. Do you need anything? Actually, do you have an extra toothbrush? It'd be nice to sleep under the stars. I think I do, actually. Yeah. Oh my, I've been in the woods, you know. That's right. I actually used a twig this morning. I kinda chewed up one end. No stars tonight. So, I've done that. Really? I'm disappointed. I thought I invented it. Even better, you can chew on some pine needles. It really freshens your breath. I mean, it's not perfect. Wow, that's roughing it. Just close your eyes and pretend, I guess. Right, exactly. And even then, it's not the same as real toothpaste. What are they talking about? Emily waves to Rita, to camera. Oh, okay. Hi, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, that was from, like, it's several years old. I can't remember exactly. I enjoyed it very much. Oh, thank you, Maya. What's next? I brought in a tape. Oh, okay. You good? All queued up. I'm gonna check on the boys. What are they doing? Ben and Bob are seated on the couch, poking at the electronic innards of a radio. So then it won't mute while it scans between stations. Okay, because that's where they live, right? No. You just want that constant static noise. Right, the noise. That's where they live. They don't live anywhere, dude. They're ghosts. Okay, what does it matter where you tune the radio? It's like soil in your garden. You need rich soil, right? Mashed up, rotted leaves and stuff, like compost. Oh, I am. How's the show? Ben has some... Oh, you know... It's a piece of food. Sandwich, maybe? Pretty good progress on the ghost box. That's not okay to have meat on your beard. Scans constant. I should tell him. And play it back later. Hey, you've got something in your beard. Nah. The radio crackles as it scans rapidly across the spectrum. Snippets of voices mixed with colored noise and unfamiliar interference patterns. Did you hear that? That was definitely a voice from beyond the grave. Sounded like, I clearly heard dogwood in there. Yeah, kinda. Sounded like frogwood to me. What the heck is a frogwood? Man, I don't tell the ghost what to say. Did you hear that, Emily? Must have been dogwood. Dogwood, of course. I guess it doesn't matter. The ghost voices don't really come out until you play back the recording later. They only exist in recordings that can copy without an original. A mirror reflecting something that isn't in the room. Eerie. Like the mounds. The burial mounds here in town? You think they're haunted? No, or... Sure, probably. But, I mean, they're like the reflection. The people who made them lived hundreds of years ago. That whole society is long gone. And now we just have these lingering echoes without any trace of context. Yeah, that is kind of eerie. So the ghosts speak and we can't hear it, but the tape recorder can't hear it, right? Is that right? I don't know. Sometimes I think it's more like the recording itself is a ghost. Like, that's what ghosts are. Recordings of events that didn't happen. But something keeps leaving new marks even after it's gone. False memories. The bowls on the floor are getting full pretty quickly. I hope somebody's playing empty these. Somebody else. More leaks. That's just not sustainable. James has been working on this circuit diagram for a while now. The diagram has been up on the chalkboard for at least a couple of months. It's a schematic for some essential component in the image processor. Nobody understands it but James. That's the point. He's trying to clean it up and simplify it a bit. He'll publish the simplified diagram, and everyone can build an image processor. Meanwhile, it's like hieroglyphics in here. The schematic seems to get more eerie the longer James is away. He understands it, which keeps it tethered in the realm of the human. Otherwise, it might as well be Lycan. What's this? You can plug any signal in here and it shows up in the screen. Sound waves, video signals, even just a weak electrical signal with no other purchase on the senses. You can inspect electric sounds that are usually low frequency to detect. Sometimes it takes a little tuning. James used this one to show me the guests in our wiring here in town. It's a low hum, barely even a hum, because it's too slow to be audible. A slow, gentle oscillation that offsets every other electrical signal in town. James hasn't been able to figure out what causes the hum, but it's okay. It's too subtle to cause any real problems for us. It's just there. Alright, it's Ron's big moment. So, okay, Ron, anything you want to tell us about that tape? Everything on that tape was wild. Really? Everything? Wild stuff indeed. Even the horses? Everything on that tape was wild. Alright, bought some forged folk tapes at a yard sale once. The lady said they were live tapes of Gene Ritchie playing dulcimer at some local bar. They were pretty good too, a little noisy with the rattling bottles and chatty dunks, but it gave the recordings a certain aura of authenticity. Were the horses wild? I thought those were the horses here. Oh, the neighbors? We call the horses here the neighbors. Oh, I didn't recognize that one. Then I noticed some of the background sounds repeating. Someone telling the same hushed story at the bar during every song. A door opening and closing in exactly the same way. The lady who sold me the tape, she'd added the bar sounds artificially. I think she recorded the music herself in her bedroom and put Richie's name on it. I don't think there are any wild horses anymore. Really? How could that be? Oh well. They've all been domesticated. Are the neighbors domesticated? We don't own them, no. They're, feral? The tapes live permanently in my truck. Over the years, they've become my favorite Ritchie recordings. All right, your documentary, you said that the people who used to live here had freed the horses. Exactly, but you can free your pet cat, but it won't turn back into a panther. Right. It's kind of haunting, kind of ghost, like Ben was saying. But everything is a ghost around here these days. It's a ghost town. People still living in it against all reason. Despite all the pain in this town's history, the Pueblo de Nada vanished. The airstrip went bankrupt, the company town buckled under guilt and exploitation. Even the first people here, all we have left of them is their graves. What about the dogs? Oh yeah, Ron, was the dog wild? Everything on that tape was wild. I just hope our ending isn't so dramatic. Maybe we can just decline peacefully into irrelevance, and then one day stop, completely unnoticed. That sounds nice. It didn't look wild to me. I guess it's a matter of perspective. I'm not sure I agree, but now it's time for the weather. Thanks again, Ron. We're hanging on long past our expiration date. Well, the weather should be pretty wild. I can hear it for myself right now. Yeah, getting pretty intense out there. You think storms like this? Get storms like this a lot? More and more. Right, of course. And then, of course, there's the actual ghost. Alright, here's Elmo with the weather report, and lucky us, we also have Cyrano Cole, who stopped by to add some drama, musically. I hear he's going to be at the Rum Colony later tonight if you need a cocktail after the show. So let's go live to Elmo for the weather report. Oh, is Elmo ready? I should make sure the camera was pointed in the right direction. Oh, my socks are getting wet. I love to have wet socks. Looks like the ceiling panels are slowing a little. Is that really happening? Are we about to get drenched? Elmo and Cyrano are killing this weather report. Hey. Hi. This is so trippy. How did he work out these ratios of oil, water, and dyes? It seems so surprising the way he drips them in one little half drop at a time. Must have been a lot of trial and error. Just staring at a circle of light on the wall. Drip, drip, drip. Where do you get your supplies, Elmo? Ben is a guy in... Oh wait, you mean the projection stuff? I mail-ordered these candle dyes. This other stuff is just mineral oil, like you can get at the drugstore. The projector, somebody just left it here, man. Incredible. Actually, it was the girl that does that pirate video stuff, you know, jamming our signal? Weaver. Yeah, our resident ghost. Ghost, huh? You really think she's dead? Does it matter? What does he mean by that? You don't think it matters? Nah, alive or dead, a ghost is just what happens when a person is gone but still taking up space. Hey, you think she'll get us tonight? It's about time, right? He's right, we're about due. Plus, Saturn's in retrograde. So I hear. Note that she keeps a strict schedule, but it's never longer than a month or two between. What does Mimi call them? I know they're bad for the general vibe around here, but can I be honest? Emily nods in mock gravity. I kind of like it when she busts in and takes over a signal. It's like a log falling on the road. Reminds you this all used to be trees. Interventions, that's what my Mimi calls it. It's been going on for a couple of years now. Her performances were cool, though. I never saw her perform, but I think about it. Oh yeah, I saw her do it a few times. I was into it. The first time she jammed our signal and showed up in our broadcast, I didn't know who she was. She'd already disappeared when I came in and took over her old job. She did lectures, right? Yeah, you could say that. I thought of them as storytelling sessions. She talked for hours and shuffled through slide after slide of shapes, numbers, weird constellations. Who knows what any of it meant? Everyone was so excited and confused and scared a little. On the defensive. They still are. And this was her projector. Right. I don't know where she got it, though. It still works really well. I got a spare bulb at a resale shop, but I haven't had to use it yet. It's strange. Never think of what she's doing as hostile, really. Sounds like Elmo has the same impression. What happened to the rest of her stuff? I bet her slides are still here in the studio, maybe with the posters? Sherry has all of Weaver's old notebooks. I know that. She keeps them in her archive, you know, the big blue filing cabinet, with the daisies painted on. Yeah, anyway, the really hard part to find is these two pieces of glass. They have to be paired very precisely. I had to get these from the clock store from Glasgow. That's where they come from. Clock faces. That's what the tips do. Anytime. Back to you, Rita. Thanks, Elmo and Cyrano. So next we have a selection from the video data bank. You're gonna like this one, Maya. This one's about caves. Oh, yeah, local caves. We play this one a lot. It's pretty cool. Telephone is ringing. Oh, but we have a phone call. Should we get it now or should we wait? We'll get it now, okay? Rita presses a button on the telephone next to her. Hello, WEVP. Hey, Rita, it's me, Jeff. Remember, it's Jeff with a G. Jeff? Packed and lunch. Sounds like this is going to be a long one. Should be okay if I wander around a bit. babe. Hey, babe. A snap and then a chitter. Did you know, Weaver? A few caws and a cough. Oh, really? Did you ever see her lectures? Sounds amazing. Would have loved to see that. You make her sound so normal. Talk to anyone else and it's like she had a second head. One of our little mysteries, like the out-of-towner. Oh, really? Did you know him well? Wow, I had no idea. So, what do you think did it? Of course, I hadn't considered that possibility. What a waste. Sad. Well, have fun. I'm gonna see if Jeff is done. Haha. No leaks back here yet. The tapes are safe for the moment. I have a bad feeling this situation won't last. Soon we'll be scrounging for a tarp to protect the video databank. Someone, Mimi I think, was tracking Weaver's appearances here. She jotted down the time and date whenever there was an intervention. Mimi hasn't been by in a few weeks though. When was the last one? Let's see what the notes say. Oh wait, she just wrote times, not dates. Well, that's not very helpful. They're all at night. I guess that's a pattern. Oh, and here's Ron's recipe for mac and cheese. 6 cups of milk? Decadent. The couch is getting a little damp. Ben and Bob don't seem to mind. Alright, you're wrapped up in their project. Bob had some theories about Weaver's broadcast. He was considering how she might be tapping into our wires here in town. He built a model, like a proof of concept. The big metal box you could wire up and use to take over our signal. It actually worked, but the thing needed too much power to run. Even a car battery could only keep it going for a few seconds. Weaver's broadcast just loops and loops, sometimes for hours. Consolidated Power doesn't pay any attention to this town anymore, but they still have us on a strict energy budget. There's no way she's plugged into the grid. Oh, he's still going.
Very strange piece of glass, and I can't tell if it's like part of it, like an industrial thing. I mean, it fell from a spaceship, maybe.
The one guy's asleep.
Or if it's worth it, I can bring it. Look, again, I would love to come by the studio if you'll have me. I can bring this by, and we can talk about it, or we can watch it in your sink at least. Because I do have to figure out the water thing, but I don't know where to go because it's a bit like how do you go if it's a P.O. box? Where do you go? And they don't have it like their number again. It's like those that they keep pressing 0 and it doesn't work, and I don't.
Line's dead. The phone lines are such a mess up here. Hello? Was that the storm or was it the phone lines? Man, they're really flaky. Business as usual. He has a really soothing voice. That's Jeff. He's a regular caller. He's asleep. Huh? My indicates Ron is falling asleep in his chair. Oh, well, let him sleep. Okay, well, let's play the tape. This is Cave Art. It's a classic around here. I'm excited. Looks like Mo got this one all queued up. Way to go, Mo. I should let Maya enjoy the tape. So if Weaver is a ghost, by some agreed upon definition in mechanics, that means WEVP-TV is haunted. Should we be doing something about that? Aren't you supposed to, like, have an exorcism or something? I mean, you can't just leave a place haunted. That would be negligence. I'd miss her, though. I guess there are good ghosts and bad ghosts, like spiders. Good in the garden, bad in the shower. A loud crashing noise from outside wakes Ron up. What was that? I'll check it out. Yikes, should we go help? Oh no, oh, the tape is over. What did you think? That was great. Yeah, I like that one. That sounded pretty close. Oh no, was the power out or just the lights? I don't know, I'll take a look. Maybe a fuse blew on a relay or something. Some scared rat chewed a wire. Abandoned ship. Just kidding. Guess I'll take a look around and see if anything's smoking. Our little town must seem even more romantic now, huh? If it survives the night. Maybe we should call. Nah, the phone lines are definitely dead now. I guess it's up to me to figure out what's going on in here. Is that a... No, of course not. Okay. Lightning flashes in the dark. dark to make it look like a slideshow out there. They're still picking up. My summer vacation is in a ghost town. They're still picking away at their project in the dark as the storm bears down on us. So what else is new? That's this whole town just whistling along on its way to the grave. Poor thing, she's soaked. Are you having trouble with... Oh, I spoke too soon. I thought your power was out. Yeah, it just came back on. Weird. Good, though. You made it in this storm. Oh, I never missed the evening broadcast. To be honest, it's the only time I get to share my work. Nikki's still carrying a torch from the out-of-towner. Sure, of course, that's great. What happened with the power? That was weird, right? The power? Oh, it seems like a normal thing to happen in a storm. Yeah, you're right. I just have an eerie feeling tonight. Well, you know, Saturn's in retrograde, right? It sure is. Well, ready to go? Ready. The ceiling is falling apart. Doesn't bode well for the roof. Some of the studio wiring is in puddles now. That's dangerous, right? Nobody else seems concerned about it. Okay, I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that. Now we enter the cultural section of tonight's program. Did you fix it? It just came back on its own. It'll just take a second for the equipment to warm back up and we'll be on the air again. Spooky. It's a disaster out there. The neighbor's barn is basically underwater. Wow, so just completely flooded. I passed Ron on the way in. He's going to take a look and see if there's anything he can do. Will he be okay? Ron knows what he's doing. He used to be a firefighter. It's a little bit different though, right? I guess. I think he can't see what he can tell us. Oh, thanks. I think he pulls a journal out of his jacket pocket. I brought my work. Oh, good. Nikki reads her poetry. It's a weekly feature of our podcast. Oh, great. I look forward to hearing it. Yeah, I just hope that we can keep going. We lost power a little while before, right? Better get started then. Okay. To the out of town. What ego flew you to your home? It was not many who brought me there to sleep. And left you bloody them in the flight. Chosen to blood. Muddy water. Did wild turkeys gobble dope and care? Ripe the moss beneath the islands clear. Big gardens pulled twigs out from your hair. Watched the feet turn weird. Wood ducks dressed you in rusty gown. Kitchen fashion shoes from leaves and bark. Who then sewed flowers into a burial crown. Made your headdress was a hawk. Might have broken the body from your head. Torture state of Emily, look at the monitor. Dude, be quiet. We're live right now. No, we're not. Look. That's not our broadcast. There she is. Someone was right. It's on. It's her. Weaver. Oh, really? Tonight? Sorry about this, man. What's going on? Local prankster. She keeps her signal. She stars now. Prankster? That's what I use. So, what do you do about it? Just wait until she's done. You're going to have to stop her. And you just wait to know how she does it. You should be back up in the though. Don't worry. Okay, there we go. That was the end of Un Pueblo de Nada. So, next week, we will get to Act 5. Perhaps the ending of Kentucky Route Zero. But we'll see. Act 4 was really long. Maybe Act 5 will be longer. Who knows? I do know that there was a real-world, really long gap between Act 4 and Act 5 in development. So, who knows? Alright, thanks for coming, everybody, and we'll see you next time.